Welcome back to Cowboy Field, historic, legendary Cowboy Field here in Laramie, Wyoming. Sorry about the mix-up yesterday, had no broadcast, but here we are, Casper versus Gem City. Shirley, Basin Showdown, part number 3. This is the third game of the 3-game series, and after this, the Bison will take on the Fremont Moo. The Bison currently are trailing in this series 2-0, hoping to avoid the series sweep here today versus their in-state rival Casper. Now stepping up for the Casper Horseheads, it's going to be Tucker Rowe, the left fielder, followed by Harrison Talbert, the center fielder. So that first pitch is going to be fouled back. For strike number 1. He's going to be followed by Baker, the shortstop, Braden Morrow, the third baseman, Bradley Fleener, the first baseman, Ty Butterfield, the designated hitter, Rose, the right fielder, Flashberg, the catcher, and Burke, the second baseman, as that pitch will come across for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike here on the Gem City Bison Digital Network. Glad you guys could join us for today's broadcast. That's going to be fouled off towards the right side for strike number 2. Also hope you're enjoying this new piece of software that we got. Hopefully it'll make things a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, and we finally got our camera to work, so a lot of good things happening today here in Laramie. That's going to be over there, picked up by Panton at second base, thrown over to Schultz at first for out number 1. That'll bring up Harrison Talbert, the center fielder for the Bison. On the mound for the Bison today, going to be Dylan Chalmers. As that pitch is going to be chopped, fouled off towards the left side for strike 1. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out with nobody on base here in the top of the first inning. Still tied, nothing between the Bison and the Horseheads. Chalmers going to come set. And here's the pitch. And that will be flied out into right field. Bradley will be right under it for quick 2 outs. And that will bring us to Baker. Excuse me, don't have a first name on him. Gonna find it here real quick.
Number 6, Dylan Baker.
Dylan Baker is the player as Chalmers comes set and fires the pitch in there for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs, and nobody on base for Baker and the Horseheads. Here's the pitch, the 1-0 pitch, going to miss upstairs for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs, nobody on base. Still tied 0-0 in the top of the first. Here's the 2-0. And that will be in there for ball 3. 3-0 is the count. Here's the 3-0, and that will be in there for strike 1. 3 balls, 1 strike for a 3-1 count to Chalmers, who I do believe is making his second Gem City Bison debut here on this hot but beautiful evening in Laramie, as that one's going to miss upstairs for ball 4. That will send him to first base and bring up Braden Morrow, the third baseman, wearing number 40. He takes a practice swing before he steps into the batter's box. Here's the pitch, and that'll be swung on into shallow left field, but McCafferty will be there to grab it for out number 3. We will head to the bottom of the first inning here on the Gem City Bison Digital Network. We'll be back right after this. Derek Wood will step up to bat for the first time today here in the bottom of the first inning. The Gem City Bison lead it over are tied 0-0 over the Casper Horseheads after a quick first inning from the Bison that included a ground out, a fly out, and a pop out to shortstop. So that means we will head to the bottom and give the Bison a turn as they step in. Derek Wood, the left-handed center fielder for the Bison from George Mason University. Starting on the mound is going to be Carvajal as the first pitch going to be swung on to the shortstop and over to first for out number 1. Quick first pitch out for the Bison as Tyler Bradley will step up now after that 6-3 putout. Bradley, the right fielder today for the Bison, stepping in, a recent addition, but definitely a mainstay on this Bison roster. Here's the first pitch, bunt shown but pulled back, still going to be in there for strike number 1. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out to Bradley and the Bison. Carvajal on the mound, comes set, fires it in there, foul back towards the left. Everybody better watch out as that ball comes flying through there for strike number 2. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on base here in the bottom of the first inning for the Bison. Here's the pitch from Carvajal, going to be swung on into left field. That is going to stay fair. So Bradley will come around to second at least. He's trying for third. The play's going to be close, but Bradley will beat it out for a stand-up triple. And that will bring up the catcher, Nico Pezzanella from Northern State and Sparks, Nevada. So he steps in, the left-handed batter, the right-handed thrower, as he fixes some of his equipment and steps in. So the Bison have a runner on third, only 1 out in this bottom of the first. Carvajal comes set, fires the pitch right in there for strike 1. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. As the Bison look to be the first to strike here in this Thursday evening contest. That one going to miss just up high for ball number 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out is the count. Pezzanella stepping in. And here's the pitch. That will miss for ball number 2. 2-1 is the count. Pezzanella from Sparks, Nevada, as well as Northern State. So going from Nevada all the way to South Dakota to play some baseball, and now here in the Gem City of Laramie, Wyoming. The 2-1 going to hit in there to even it up at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out in the bottom of the first, runner on third. Carvajal looks over at third to Bradley, who's taking his lead, decides to step off, even though nobody was over there shadowing Morrow, the third baseman. Here's the pitch. That's going to be swung on, lifted into right center field. Talbert tracking it, and he'll be under it. Although Bradley will tag up and come through for the first run of the game. Gem City leads it 1-0 here in the bottom of the first after a sacrifice fly from Pezzanella into center field. So, with 2 outs, And 1 run already scored, nobody on base because of it. Randy Stoltz, wearing number 25, steps in. The righty going to be versing the righty on the mound in Carvajal. Here's the pitch, and that will miss down low for ball number 1. One ball, no strikes is the count to Stoltz. He will slam that into right center field. That's going to hit the gap at the warning track. Stoltz going around second. The throw in from center will not be in time. Another triple for the Bison here in this bottom of the first. Randy Stoltz standing in at third now, and that will bring up Keegan Schultz. So Keegan Schultz steps in with 2 outs, a runner on third with a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first inning here in beautiful Laradice. First pitch going to come in there for strike 1. 1 ball, no strikes is the count to Schultz from Nichols State. He steps in once again, a righty for this Bison team. Here's the pitch, and that will miss. Hit inside, excuse me. Don't know why I said miss. It'll hit inside the strike zone for strike number 2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs with a runner on third, and Stoltz off of the second triple of this first inning. The pitch will miss high for ball 1 to make the count 1-2. Schultz from the Colony, Texas as well. Kind of staying close to home, and of course that is why we call him the Texas Cowboy. That'll be fouled off towards the left side. The count will remain the same at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Stoltz will step back in again, put his bat over his shoulder, and is ready to go to work, maybe put the Bison up 2-0. Here's the pitch from Carvajal, and that will miss inside for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Is the count. Here's the 2-2, and that will miss outside to move the count to full. 3 balls, 2 strikes for a full count to Schultz with a runner on third. The Bison already leading 1-0 in the bottom of the first. Carvajal peers in. Comes set, kicks and fires it home. That'll be fouled off towards the right. Good swing by Schultz to keep himself alive and the Bison as well in this inning. 3 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs and a runner on third. Steps in once again. Here it is. And that's going to miss down low for ball 4. That'll send him walking and keep the runner at third. That will bring up Mitchell Tolk. First walk of the day for Carvajal, as Tolk, the designated hitter, will step in for the Bison with 2 outs and runners on the corners with a 1-0 lead. He steps in. Carvajal looks back at first. Comes set looking at the runner on third. Here's the pitch. That'll miss outside for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. To Tolk, wearing number 33, also from Northern State in South Dakota. And that pitch will also miss outside for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes is the count to the student from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So staying in state to play his college ball, coming down to Laramie, Wyoming to play his summer ball. Flashberg will come out to talk to Carvajal. The Horseheads are defending a 2-out situation with 2 runners on base, 1 on third in Stoltz and 1 on first in Schultz. Flashberg returns to behind the plate. Two-0 count for Tolk as he steps back in, takes a deep breath and lines up his bat, puts it over his shoulder. Carvajal comes set, fires it in, and that'll reach for strike 1. 2 balls, 1 strike, with 2 outs and runners on first and third. An excellent, beautiful night in Laramie. I saw earlier on today while we were setting up for this game, it was about 89 degrees, so it's a bit of a hot one, but luckily most of these seats here at Cowboy Field are shaded. So Carvajal steps off to make sure to keep Schultz from stealing. Schultz being held on by Fleener over at first. Here's the pitch. Now Schultz will go. A grounder going to sneak through into right field. Another run going to come through to score as Schultz will be at third. So runners will remain on the corner. The only difference is a new batter, and the Bison lead it 2-0 in the bottom of the first. So Quinn McCafferty will step up now. The shortstop for this Bison team as they lead it 2-0 in the bottom of the first inning. He steps in with fresh count. Here's the pitch. That's going to be lined into center field. Another run will come in to score as Tolk will advance to second. So runners on first and second now. With Tolk at second and McCafferty at first. Off of 2 back-to-back doubles, Ross will step in, looking to keep this inning going. Ross, the left fielder from Grantsville, Utah. Carvajal comes set and looks back at second, fires it in at home, and that'll hit inside the zone for strike 1. No balls, 1 strike with 2 outs and runners on second and first, being represented by Tolk and McCafferty, respectively. Here's the 0-1, and that'll miss outside for ball 1 to even things up at 1-1. Ross, playing his college ball at Williston State Community College, is, however, looking to transfer out to maybe a D2 or D1 school. Here's the pitch. That'll be fired in there and swung on for strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, with a runner on first and second as a throw down to second will not be successful. So Tolk will stay there, McCafferty at first, and Ross at home with a 3-0 lead. Here's the pitch, and that'll be swung on and fouled off into right field foul territory, way, way far beyond the Casper bullpen. So the count will remain at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Carvajal steps on the mound, peers in to get his signs from Flashberg. Looks back at second, now at home, back at second, and now at home once again. Throws it in there, and that'll miss for ball 2. A little bit of breaking ball action, couldn't quite hit the zone. So the count will remain, will move, to 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch going to be swung on and popped up out of play into the stands for a premier bone and joint foul ball. We want to go ahead and thank A.D. Martin Lumber and Lariat Realty LLC for sponsoring us, as well as Aspen Family Chiropractic and Grand Avenue Urgent Care. Here's the pitch, and that'll be in there for strike 3. A strikeout to end the inning for the Horseheads, but the Gem City Bison will push across 3 runs in the bottom of the first. We head to the second inning here on the Gem City Bison Digital Network. 3-0. The Bison lead it. We'll be back right after this. We move to the top of the second inning as that first pitch going to come across for strike 1 to Bradley Fleener, the first baseman for this Horseheads team. Chalmers still on the mound as that one will miss for ball number 1 to even things up at 1-1. In the bottom of the first inning, 3 runs were pushed across for the Gem City Bison off of 5 hits and no errors. And that's where the score sits, 3-0, as a great effort from Schultz to stop the ball from going into right field foul territory will not finish it, but a throw from way far in right field territory, foul territory, to second will not be in time, although it was really, really close. And in fact, most of the people at Cowboy Field thought that it should have been an out. But nevertheless, that will bring up Bradley Fleener off of the double. So Fleener will stand at second and Butterfield will come in, the designated hitter wearing number 11. Chalmers stands on the mound and looks back at second and fires that pitch in for strike number 1. No balls, 1 strike is the count with no outs and a runner at second for the Horseheads. Butterfield from Benedictine Mesa, where he plays his college ball. The 0-1 going to be swung on and chopped over the pitcher's head, picked up by McCafferty and almost slung on to first, but the ball just kind of slipped out of his hand as he brought his arm around to throw. So Fleener will advance to third and Butterfield to second.
Now batting number 9, Ethan Rhodes.
Off of what I would call an error. So Rose will stand in now for the Heads as that one's going to be fouled off towards the right for strike 1. No balls, 1 strike is the count. The 0-1 pitch going to be swung on into left field foul territory. Randy Stoltz going to go ahead and grab it for out number 1 with runners still on first and third off of the error from McCafferty. Honestly, there wasn't very much he could do about that as the ball just kind of slipped out of his hand while he was in his throwing motion. And now that could be a multitude of things. Maybe he just let go of it. Maybe the ball actually slipped because it had some residue on it. Not sure, but it's not a really bad play. It just kind of sucks because the Bison now have 2 runners on base with Flashberg standing in now. That ball going to be hit into left field as Flashberg will make it onto first off of this single, and that'll bring Bradley Fleener in to score. 3-1 is the score with 2 outs. And now runners on first and second. Here's the pitch from Chalmers. That's going to be swung high and back as Pezzanello will trace the premier bone and joint foul ball, although he will not be able to get to it, and strike 1 will come across the board. Want to thank Laramie GM Auto Center and Drake Jeffries for their support of the Gem City Bison. So Chris Burke now standing in for the Bison. So that pitch will come across down for ball number 1. One ball, 1 strike. As Chalmers looks back at second, fires it in there. That'll be chopped foul, grounded foul on the third base line for strike number 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out with runners on first and second for the Bison. Here's the 1-2 from to Burke from Dakota State, a junior there. That will be swung on and foul tipped for strike 2. Excuse me, the count will remain the same at strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out. The Burke, a native of Temecula, California. Runners on first and second still with 1 out. Here's the pitch, once again foul back. The count will remain the same. One ball, 2 strikes as Burke steps in there once again. Here's the pitch. That's going to miss upstairs for ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes is the count as the Horseheads trail it 1-3 in the top of the second. 2 runners on. Here's the pitch. It's going to be swung on, popped back out of play for a premier bone and joint foul ball. Two balls, 2 strikes, still the count. As Jack Jones will run out to give the home plate umpire all the balls that have left the area of play. Here's the 2-2 from Chalmers as he looks back to second, fires it in. That's going to be lined straight into right field. Runner's going to come around third but be held there. So the bases will be loaded with 1 out here in the top of the second inning. As Tucker Rowe will now step up to the plate. So Rowe will step back in his second time at bat. The freshman from Saginaw Valley State, as the Horseheads trail it 3-1 in the top of the second. That's going to be fouled towards the right. Might hit the light pole, did not, for strike one. No balls, one strike, one out with the bases loaded. Here's the pitch, and that'll be in there for strike number two. Chalmers still on the mound as he climbs up the hill once again. That'll be lined to second. Panton at second, over to McCafferty on first. That's not going to be in time, so Horseheads will put one more run on the board, as Burke is going to be caught up in a 4-6 attempted double play, although it did not quite work out for the Bison. So now Harrison Talbert will stand in with runners on first and third. There's the pitch, and that'll be flown out into shallow right field. McCafferty going back and bringing it down for out number 3. We head to the bottom of the second inning here on the Gem City Bison Digital Network. 3-2 is your score. We'll be back right after this. Justice Panton will step in the 9-hole for the Gem City Bison. They lead it 3-2 here in the bottom of the second. As we head to that, we would like to say a huge thank you to Premier Bone and Joint Centers and Heartland Embroidery for being proud sponsors of the Gem City Bison. So Panton steps in for the first time today. That first pitch going to miss way up high for ball one. 1 ball, no strikes, as 2 runs were pushed across in the top of the second by the Horseheads. The score being 2-3. That pitch will miss to even things up at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Is Carvajal still on the mound? That's going to miss up high for ball 2. 2-1 is the count to the ball player from North Carolina A&T. He steps in the left-handed batter's box, as that's going to be swung on, popped up into shallow left field, being tracked down. Actually, that's not very shallow at all. Being brought down by Rowe. My depth perception is off today. I apologize. So that's going to come across for out number 1. As we'll be back up to the top of the order with D. Wood, the center fielder. He'll step in from George Mason and Reedley, California. That ball will miss for ball 1 to move the count to 1-0. 1 strike and nobody on base for Wood as he steps in for his second time today. The first time he was up was in the first inning. He grounded into a 6-3 putout, a shortstop to first base putout on the first pitch of the game. That pitch going to be fouled back straight. That'll hit near the press box, but I don't think it did hit the press box for a Premier Bone and Joint foul ball. That'll put the count at 1-1, 1 ball, 1 strike. Two to 1. That's going to be swung on and fouled back towards the left for strike 2. 2-2 is the count. An even count now to Wood as that one will miss outside to put the count at full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with only 1 out and nobody on base for the Bison. Here's the pitch, and that'll miss for ball 4. So he will go walking, and that'll bring up the second in the order, Tyler Bradley. So Wood reaching on base for the first time today. And that'll bring up Tyler Bradley in his second at bat. Last time he was up, he was 6 for 3. Excuse me, no, he tripled, and then eventually came around to score the first of 3 runs for the Bison. That pickoff attempt not going to be in time as Wood will get back, stare at it to make sure it doesn't go so far as he can surely take second base with that speed. So Bradley will step back in. Fresh count still with runner on first and 1 out. Here's the pitch, button shown, and the throw down to first, again, not going to be in time, this time from the catcher, Flashberg. So the count will move to 1-0 after the bunt that was shown was pulled back by Bradley. 1 ball, no strikes as he steps back in. Last night he was 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. As another pickoff attempt to first will not be successful. Carvajal on the mound, and the Horseheads team knows the speed that Derek Wood has and that he can show it off at any point in this game. Here's the 1-0. That'll miss up high for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. As for Bradley, a fairly new addition to this Bison team. Don't really know much about him yet other than he is a very, very good outfielder. He has a lot of speed and he can get to places that some other players can't. As Wood will now go from first to second. He'll be in there safe off the stolen base. So that pitch will miss for ball 3 and Wood will advance to second off the stolen base. And Bradley will step back in with an even more hitter-favored count. as that's going to be 3-0 count. That'll miss up high for ball 4. That'll send him walking and have players at first and second. So 2 back-to-back walks will bring up Nico Pezzanella for the second time today from Northern State. He steps in, the lefty versus the righty on the mound. Carvajal looks back at second and fires it home in for strike 1. No balls, 1 strike is the count with 1 out. And now runners on first and second for the Bison. Here's the 0-1. That'll hit in for strike number 2. The last time he was up, he flew out to center field for the second out of the first inning. Here comes the 0-2. That's going to be half swung on and fouled off to keep the count the same at 1-2. Pezzanella last night, he was 1 for 3 with a run, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Here he is, no balls and 2 strikes with an out and runners on first and second. Carvajal stands tall on the mound, looks back at second, now at home. Steps off, and there's nobody to throw to at second as neither Baker or Burke were covering the bag. 0-2's the count with 1 out and runners on first and second. Carvajal comes set. Looks between second and home and kicks and fires. Down low in the dirt for ball 1 as both runners will advance. So runners will now be at second and third for the Bison. Bradley at second, Wood at third. As Pezzanella will get another shot at it as that ball came down way in the dirt for ball 1. One, 2 is the count. Pezzanella standing in, bat over shoulder. Here's the pitch. That'll be lined into left field. Another run will come in to score. Bradley will also come in to score, and Pezzanella to be in at second for a 5-2 lead after 2 more runs come across to score for the Bison. As I mentioned before, 5-2 is the score now as Pezzanella will stand in at second. Randy Stoltz stepping in now, number 25 today, third baseman. Here's the first pitch. That's going to be lined into center field. Pezzanella making sure nobody catches it. He'll be stopped at third. So Pezzanella to third and Stoltz to first off of that single as the Texas Cowboy will step in now with only 1 out. 5-2 is still the score here in the bottom of the second inning. Schultz steps in, second at bat of the day, looking and getting directions from assistant coach John Grigg, as well as the 2 runners on base on the corners in Stoltz and Pezzanella. Carvajal comes set, looks up and down and fires it in for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes with an out and runners on second and third. Schultz is 1 for 4 with a run, an RBI, and 2 strikeouts yesterday. Pickoff attempt over to first, not successful as Stoltz will get back in just in time. Count will remain at 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the pitch. That'll miss outside once again for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. This is the count. Last time Schultz was up, he walked and then eventually came around to score the 3rd and final run of the excellent first inning from the Bison. Here's the pitch, and that'll be fouled almost straight back towards the right side for strike 1. 2 balls and 1 strike after that premier bone and joint foul ball, and Cooper Hack now coming out to give the extra balls to the home plate umpire. 2-1 is the score, the count. 5-2 is the score. Bison lead it in the bottom of the 2nd. Stoltz is going to go, as well is Pezzanella. He's going to get in there for another run. 6-2 is the score as Pezzanella comes in off the throw down to second from Stoltz, who, by the way, did get in there in time. So now Schultz will have a 3-1 count. With the runner standing in at third, as Stoltz did actually advance from the stolen base. So that ball will be in there for strike 2. Three-2 is the count. So that one's going to be swung off towards the right side into the Horseheads bullpen. So the count will remain the same. 3 balls, 2 strikes, with only 1 out in this bottom of the 2nd. Schultz standing in, bat over his shoulder. Here's the pitch. That's going to be lined into left center field. No doubt about that one, as Stoltz will come in to score another run for the Bison. They lead it 7-2 off the RBI double from Keegan Schultz. As now the manager for the Horseheads will come out onto the field to have a chat and take the ball from Carvajal. We will have a new pitcher here on the Gem City Bison Digital Network. We'll tell you more about him when we get back and give you the final line for Carvajal. Once again, pitching change. We'll be back right after this. Mitchell Tolk will stand in for the Gem City Bison now as a pitching change has taken place. That first pitch going to come across for ball number 1. Schultz standing in at second. That one's going to be lined into left center. A dive from Talbert as he will make the catch for out number 2. Excellent display of athleticism from Talbert to make that grab. Coming in, number 34, Ryan Kalila from Burlington, Ontario, Canada, a freshman at Iowa Lakes Community College. He's going to be on the mound for the Horseheads. That will bring up Quinn McCafferty after the fly out to center. That first pitch going to be in there for ball number 1. Excuse me, strike number 1. 1 strike, 2 outs with a runner on second. That pitch is going to drop in right field foul territory for strike number 2. 0-2 is the count. Here for McCafferty and the Bison. 2 outs. So that's going to miss low for ball 1 as Flashburg has a little bit of trouble finding it. One ball, 2 strikes is the count to McCafferty, who last night was 0 for 5 with a run and 2 strikeouts. There's the pitch, and that's going to be chopped foul. Back towards the left, the on-deck man, Justin Ross, will pick it up. As Cooper Hack will replace that ball in the umpire's bag. And we're ready to get back to baseball. 1 ball, 2 strikes is still the count. Two is the count now as McCafferty stands in the right-handed box. And Kalela stares in, looks back at second, now at home once again and fires. That'll be fouled off, hitting in the stands. A nice catch from one of the fans over on the right side. Barehanded that, just stuck his hand out and grabbed it. 2-2 will remain the count. Count will remain off that premier bone and joint foul ball as that one will be foul tipped by McCafferty. So once again, 2-2 will stay the count in this bottom of the second. 7-2 is the score. He steps in once again, lining up his bat with a runner on second in Schultz. Here's the pitch. That'll miss to fill things up at 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs and a runner on second for McCafferty. Native of Bighorn, Wyoming, goes to Western Nebraska Community College over in Scottsbluff. Here's the pitch. Swung on and high deep into right center field. That's going to drop. Another run will come in for the Bison as McCafferty will be in at second. So McCafferty just replacing Schultz at second as Schultz comes around to score. And that will bring up Quinn McCafferty off the double. 8-2 is the score. Bison up over the Horseheads as Ross steps in the right-handed box. From Williston State College, as that pitch will miss for ball number 1. 1-0 is the count to Ross from Utah. Standing in, that will reach in there for strike number 1. Last night, he only had a walk. So he's looking to do more than that today. The first time he was up, he was caught on the outside edge of the strike zone for a strikeout looking, as that one will be down low for ball 2. McCafferty, of course, standing in at second as the runner. Two-one is the count, as Ross puts his bat over his shoulder. Here's the pitch from Kalila, and that will miss for ball 3. 3-1 as Ross steps in once again. The Bison today wearing their home all creams with brown and gold trim. Yesterday wearing their Wyoming, their 307 jerseys. As that ball will miss up for ball 4 and send Ross to first and McCafferty to second, because the ball hit the catcher's glove but then went back. And so McCafferty took the opportunity. So Ross walks and brings up Justice Panton, who has already been up to bat this inning. So we have officially batted around here in this bottom of the second. That pitch will reach in there for strike number 1. 2 outs for the Bison with runners on the corners. 0-1 count for Panton. Here's the pitch. And that'll reach in there on the outside edge for strike 2. 2 balls. Excuse me. No balls, 2 outs. Hold on, I am just getting way too confused. Runner's gonna go. Ross will be caught stealing, and that will end the inning, so Panton will get another crack at it in the bottom of the 3rd. 8-2 is the score off of 5 runs being pushed across. We will be back here on the Gem City Bison Network with the top of the 3rd right after this. Eight to 2, your Gem City Bison lead it as we head to the top of the 3rd inning here at Cowboy Field in beautiful Laradice. First pitch going to come across and be popped up into the right side of the field, and Keegan Schultz will bring that down. So Dylan Baker will be out on a pop out to first for the first out of this inning. 8-2 the score. After 5 runs were pushed across in the bottom of the first. Excuse me, the second. That pitch going to be fouled back for strike 1. Number 40, Braden Morrow will step in with nobody on base and 1 out on the board. Chalmers still on the mound for the Bison. Here's the pitch, and that will be swung on for strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes is the count to Morrow. Stands in the right-handed batter's box. Here's the pitch from Chalmers, and that'll be swung on and missed for strike 3.
Now batting number 20, Bradley Fleener.
Hold on, excuse me. Let me do that again. So that will be out number 1 for this inning. Excuse me, 2 outs. So that one's going to be flown into left center field. Wood just can't get a handle on it. He'll go back to the warning track and grab it. A long throw in there to prevent the runner from advancing to third. As that will bring up Tyler Butterfield. So Fleener will stand in at second. That pitch going to be swung on by Butterfield for strike number 1. No balls, 1 strike to Butterfield. As that pitch comes across for strike 2 as it is swung on. 0-2 is the count here in the top of the 3rd inning. This top of the 3rd inning brought to you by Arrowhead Candy LLC and Michael Luby, proud supporters of the Gem City Bison. Here's the 0-2 from Chalmers, and that'll miss for ball 1. One ball, 2 strikes is the count. That's going to be chopped and picked up by Schultz. Over to Chalmers on first, and he's going to be out. So 3 outs here in the top of the 3rd will send us to the bottom of the 3rd here on the Gem City Bison Digital Network. Still 8-2. We'll be back right after this. The Gem City Bison are up to bat once again. They lead it 8-2 here in the bottom of the third inning. So that first pitch is going to come across for ball one. 1 ball, no strikes to Panton now, who gets a second chance after Ross was caught stealing in the bottom of the second for the third out. Here's the 1-0 pitch. And that will be in there for strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike is the count as Kalela still on the mound. That'll miss out for 2 balls, no strikes. Two-one is that'll hit outside for ball 3. Here's the 3-1, and that's going to miss for ball number 4. So, Justice Panton will go walking. Off the walk, that'll bring up Derek Wood, the center fielder for the Bison. As he steps up today in the first inning, he grounded out to shortstop, who threw it on to first for out number 1 on the first pitch of the game, might I add, as that one comes across for strike 1. In the second inning, he got walked and then stole a base to second and then came around to score one of the 5 runs in that inning. That one will miss for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes is the count. As that one will also miss outside for ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. As that one will be in there for strike number 1. Wood so far 0 for 2. Here's a 3-1. That'll be grounded to second, picked up by Burke, over to Baker on second, and the runner's going to beat him out. Fleener just couldn't get the ball in time, and so Wood will make it to second, as Panton will be out off of the fielder's choice, basically a failed double play. So now we have Tyler Bradley stepping up to bat for the Bison. 1 out and a runner on first for him. They lead at 8-2 in this bottom of the third. That ball will miss for ball 1. 1-0 is the count. Bradley stepping in. So far today, it's tripled in the first inning. Came around to score on that one. And then in the second inning, he was walked, and then he eventually came around to score on that one, as that ball is going to be fouled off to left field foul territory for a premier bone and joint foul ball. This bottom of the third inning brought to you by Kevin Evans and Motive Coffee Company. Thank you to all of our supporters of the Gem City Bison. That's going to be lined into right field. Bradley with another hit will come across. That'll be fumbled by Rose. Wood will come around to score, and it's going to be a play at third. He's going to be out of there. So Bradley gets a double, but gets thrown out at third for the second out of the inning. An RBI double for him. So 2 outs with no runners on base. 9-2 is now the score. The Bison are leading as Pezzanella steps up to bat. First pitch will come across for ball 1 on the outside for Pezzanella. Bezanella in the first inning flew out to center field, as that'll miss out for ball 2. In the second inning, see if I can read what I got here. Okay, you know what? We'll just go to fancy point streak. As that pitch will come across for ball 3. In the second inning, Pezzanella got a double. Okay, there we go. So that ball will come across for strike 1. And that one will miss for ball 4. So Pezzanello will advance to first. And that will bring up Randy Stoltz. He steps in at home with Pezzanella at first. 2 outs on the board. Here's the first pitch from Kalela. That'll miss for ball number 1. One ball, no strikes. Here's the pitch, and that'll miss down low for ball 2. The first time Stoltz was up, he tripled in the first inning. He came around to score, and then in the second inning, he singled, stole to second, advanced to third on the wild pitch, and then eventually came around to score. That's going to be lined into left field. That's going to be fair. Pezzanella will come around third, being waved home by assistant coach John Gregg. He'll come in no problem. So the Bison have reached double digits as Stoltz got to third off of a double. So he now has a triple, a single, and a double. He's just a home run away from the cycle. If I scored that right, of course. Pezzanella will come around first to score. 10-2 is the score as Schultz steps in. Runner at third is that first pitch going to be fouled off for strike 1. Premier Bone and Joint. Foul ball. 0-1 is the count, as that one will come across for ball 1. 1-1 is the count, even at 1, with 2 outs and a runner at third. That one's going to be chopped to third base. Morrow picks it up and slings it over to Fleener on first, and that will be out number 3. 2 more runs come across as the Gem City Bison have a 10-2 lead over the Casper Horseheads. We'll be back with the top of the 4th inning right after this. Ethan Rose will stand in to bat for the Casper Horseheads. They trail it 2-10 here in the top of the 4th inning. The pitch from Chalmers going to be in there for strike 1. Chalmers, an excellent outing so far today. 3 innings pitched, 33 strikes, 9 balls coming across, only a 6.0 ERA, as that one's going to be swung on and lifted to center field. A nice catch from Derek Wood in center to put out number 1 on the board. Derek Wood cannot be stopped in center, as Ethan Rose will be put down from that excellent grab from him. As that will bring up Dane Flashberg, wearing number 8, the catcher for the Horseheads. Flashberg earlier today has singled. And that's about it, as that first pitch going to come across for strike number 1. Flashberg last night was 0 for 2 with 2 runs and a walk. The sophomore from Redlands, a native of Glendora, California. So that one will be swung on and missed for strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes.
Ladies and gentlemen, you guys don't sound excited enough for half up here. We want strike away.
Is the count. 1 out with Flashberg standing in. Here's the pitch upcoming. And that's going to miss up high for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes is the count. With nobody on base for the Horseheads, they trail it 2-10 here in the top of the 4th. Another pitch. That will be swung on and missed for strike 3 from Flashberg. 2 outs now on the board. Flashberg gets the second out of the inning, and everybody here at Cowboy Field gets 2 for 1 beer for the rest of the 4th. Chris Burke will step in now. The right-handed hitter, facing the righty on the mound. That pitch in there for strike 1. 0-1 is the count, 2 outs. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be chopped foul and to the left for strike 2. That Premier Bone and Joint foul ball will bring up an 0-2 count with 2 outs and nobody on base for Burke. Here's the 0-2. That'll miss for ball number 1. Burke last night was 0 for 3 with a run, an RBI, and 2 walks. So far today, he has a hit, as that one will be in there for strike 3. 2 strikeouts to end the inning as we move to the bottom of the 4th here on the Gem City Bison Digital Network. It's again the score 10-2. We'll be back right after this. Mitchell Tolk steps in for your Gem City Bison. They lead it 10-2 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. As Tolk steps in, we want to say a huge thank you to Chili's, the Blue Mountain Bookstores. That one's going to be swung on and missed for strike 1. We also want to say thank you to Quality IV Care and H&R Block. Thank you all for being proud supporters of the Gem City Bison. That pitch going to miss for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike is the count as Tolk steps in, puts his bat over his shoulder. Here's the pitch. That's going to be lifted to center field. Talbert underneath it, and he'll bring it down for out number 1. That will bring up Quinn McCafferty, the shortstop for the Bison, wearing number 9. He steps in with an out and nobody on base. As he puts his bat around, lines it up, and puts it over his shoulder. That pitch going to be swung on and missed for strike 1. There's also a new pitcher on the mound for the Horseheads. I forgot to tell you that. Mike Williams from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, a senior at Carolina, as the count will move to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes with an out for McCafferty and the Bison. That one also lifted into center field. Talbert having to move in a little bit to grab it for out number 2. So 2 flyouts to center will bring up Justin Ross with 2 outs on the board and nobody on base. He steps in and looking to do a little bit of something here. He struck out in the first time he was up, as that pitch will come across for strike 1, and then he got walked, but then got caught stealing for the 3rd out of the bottom of the 2nd. As that one will be way outside, but swung on anyway for strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs for Ross from Williston State College. Williams, the lefty, comes set on the mound, fires it in there. That's going to hit for strike 3. So a strikeout will end the inning once again for the Gem City Bison, but don't worry, they're up on defense next here on the Gem City Bison Digital Network. Once again, score 10-2. We'll be back right after this. Here in the top of the 5th inning, looks like we might have a new batter who just lined out straight. No, excuse me, I was looking at the totally wrong thing. Tucker Rowe, left fielder, steps up to bat and lines straight out to first base for out number 1. The Bison are leading it 10-2 on the Gem City Bison Digital Network. Want to thank everybody for joining us here, especially Smith Beverages and Les Schwab Tires, proud supporters of the Gem City Bison. That first pitch going to be fouled off for a Premier Bone and Joint foul ball. So that'll move the count to 0-1, no balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Nobody on base for the Horseheads. Here's the pitch from Chalmers. That'll miss down low in the dirt for ball 1. So far today for Talbert, he's flown out to right field and popped out to shortstop. Is that pitch going to be swung on, lifted way high into right field? Bradley chasing it and brings it down for out number 2. 2 outs, nobody on base as Dylan Baker will step up to bat. Baker in there, the shortstop, off of the second fly out to right field in this game. First pitch of this at bat going to be chopped up the middle for a base hit, and he will reach first. So now Baker Braden Morrow will step in with 2 outs and a runner on first. Excuse me, that's not Morrow, that is Pollock. My bad. Been saying the wrong name the whole game. I just now noticed it as that ball will come across for strike 1. No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be swung on and missed for strike 2. So Pollock playing third base. Runner at first for the Horseheads as they're down 2 here in this top of the 5th inning. I shouldn't say down 2 as that one will come across for strike 3. We will head to the bottom of the 5th inning here on the Gem City Bison Digital Network. The score 10-2 over the Bison over the Horseheads. We'll be back right after this. Justice Panton comes up to bat for your Gem City Bison. They lead it 10-2 over the Casper Horseheads as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Panton steps in. 0 for 2 today so far after flying out to left field and walking and eventually getting stranded there. First pitch swinging, that's going to be popped up into the middle of the infield as Burke will come over and grab it for out number 1. No balls, no strikes, 1 out. Now to D. Wood, he steps in. 0 for 3 on the day so far, even though he's came around to score twice. I do believe that's how you count it. I think a fielder's choice is included in an offer. So he's grounded out to short as that one is going to be swung on for strike 2. He's grounded out to short. He got walked, stole a base, and then he eventually came around to score, and then reached on a fielder's choice and then came around to score. So those are the 3 at-bats for Wood, as that one will be swung on and missed for strike number 3, out number 2 for the Bison.
Now by number 1, Tyler Bradley.
As he will bring up Tyler Bradley, the right fielder for the Bison. He steps in. Is that first pitch going to be in there for strike 1? Bradley, so far today, is 2 for 3 as he's tripled and doubled. He just has a walk and he just needs a single and a home run for the cycle. 1 ball, 1 strike is now the count to Bradley as he steps in. Williams still on the mound for the Horseheads as he comes set and fires that in. That's going to miss in the dirt and go off towards the left for ball number 2. 2 balls, 1 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on base for Bradley and the Bison. That one will miss for strike 3. 3-1 is the count to Bradley in the left-handed batter's box. Here's the pitch, and that'll be swung on live straight to Baker with an excellent play to retire the side. We head to the top of the 5th inning. The top of the 6th inning here on the Gem City Bison Digital Network. The score still 10-2. We'll be back right after this. First pitch comes across for ball number 1 to Bradley Fleener, stepping in the left-handed batter's box for the Horseheads. They trail it 10-2 here in the top of the 6th. That ball is going to be swung on and fouled off towards the left for a premier bone and joint foul ball. We'd like to thank Blodorn Lumber Company, Ivinson Memorial Hospital, Marquis Meat Market, Montez the Mudman for all sponsoring the Gem City Bison. Here's the pitch, and that'll miss for ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike is the count to Fleener. So far today has doubled twice, actually, but one of the times he came around to score, another one of the times he got stranded. That pitch going to be swung on, picked up by Panton over at second, and that's going to be swung on to first by Schultz. Actually, that is going to be Godfrey coming in for Panton, and so we will move the scoreboard to 1 out. Godfrey with an excellent play at second base for the Bison. That first pitch going to be in there for strike 1. Now to Butterfield. So Butterfield standing in the left-handed batter's box. That's going to be swung on and fouled back for another premier bone and joint foul ball. 0-2 is the count. 1 out, nobody on base for the Horseheads. Oh-2 is the count. Here's the pitch from Chalmers. That'll barely miss for ball 1. Down low for ball 1. Count's going to be 1 ball, 2 strikes with an out. Here's the 1-2. That's going to be swung on, grounded. Excellent play by Stoltz. A throw over to first will get him out. 2 strikes in this inning. 2 excellent plays from Godfrey at second and Stoltz at third. Stoltz slid in there, put the glove down to be able to grab it, corral it, stand up, and send it over to Schultz at first. 2 outs on the board as we will bring up Ethan Rose off that electric 5-3 putout. 10-2 the Bison lead in as Rose steps in. Last time he was up, he flew out to center field as that first pitch in there for strike 1 from Chalmers. Checking in on Chalmers right now at 5.2 innings pitched. 53 of his pitches have been strikes, 15 of them being balls, and only has a 3.17 ERA. Here's the 0-1 from the aforementioned Chalmers as that's going to be fouled off for another premier bone and joint foul ball. Rose standing in the box. He's going to ground it to Godfrey, who gobbles it up and sends it over to first. So we will have a 1-2-3 inning here on the Gem City Bison Digital Network. We'll be back right after this. Once again, the score 10-2. A 1-2-3 inning in the field will bring up the Gem City Bison, leading 10-2 in this bottom of the 6th inning. Welcome into Cowboy Field. We're going to have the last about 2.5 innings for you right here on the Gem City Bison Digital Network. As I said before, the Bison leading 10-2 as Pezzanella steps up to the plate. First pitch will come down, but in the zone for strike one. No balls and 1 strike to Pezzanella, who today has flown out to center, doubled, came around to score, and then walked and came around to score. Here's the pitch, and that'll miss this time. Excuse me, both times for ball 2. Pezzanella, the catcher from Northern State, actually played a bulk of his pitches at first base in Aberdeen. 3 balls, no strikes is the count. Here's the pitch, and that'll miss. Down and outside for ball number 4. So he'll walk over to first base. And Randy Stoltz will step up to bat, making an electric play in the last inning to get Ty Butterfield, the designated hitter for the Heads, out. He basically slid in to grab the ball, positioned his glove right at his hip, sent it over to first, no problem. Got him for the second out of the inning. He's going to line that into left field. Pezzanella will practically walk into second. So a leadoff walk and a single to follow that will bring up Keegan Schultz. Excuse me. Looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter / substitution. Justin Williamson, number 16, coming in for the Gem City Bison. So Williamson will step up to bat in the right-handed batter's box with Stoltz at first and Pezzanella at second. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be swung on and missed for strike 1. No balls, 1 strike. Williamson in there, gets bat on it, and it'll be backhanded by Pollock. A throw over to first will not be in time. Fleener won't be able to block it, as Stoltz will come around to score from first. As Pezzanella will actually be out, as Pollock just stepped on the bag, and then the throw over to first was not successful, so Williamson will make it to second off of the single and then an error. And there will not be a run at first. And it looks like they're going to go ahead and take a runner away and put him back at third. So Stoltz will be standing in at third. Pezzanella will be out. And Justin Williamson at second. That'll bring up Mitchell Tolk, the designated hitter for the Bison today, with no outs and runners in scoring position. That first pitch gonna miss for ball 1. One ball, no strikes is the count. Here's the pitch. That's gonna be lined straight to the shortstop, Baker. And that will be out number 1. Excuse me, out number 2, I do believe. As Tyler Godfrey will come up to bat. So this is where Tyler Godfrey is going to be coming in the lineup. Playing second base. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be lifted high into the infield. Burke will bring that down for out number 3. So we will head to the top of the 7th inning here on the Gem City Bison Digital Network. 11-2 is the score. We'll be back right after this. Dane Flashberg will step up to bat as that first pitch is going to be fouled off towards the right side for a premier bone and joint foul ball. 0-1 will be the count as we want to go ahead and thank Cook and Associates PC as well as Kia of Cheyenne. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Chalmers as that'll miss upstairs for ball number 1. So far today, Flashberg has singled in the second inning. Got stranded at first and then struck out for the second out of the top of the 4th. Here's the pitch, and that'll be swung on, chopped, picked up by Stoltz. A couple shuffles and over to Williamson at first. That'll be out number 1 as now coming up to bat will be Chris Burke. The second fielder wearing number 3 today for the Horseheads. Beautiful night now in Laramie as the heat is kind of dialed back a bit and allowed us to enjoy clear blue skies. Excellent view here from the press box. Glad you're alongside us here on the Gem City Bison Digital Network. That ball gonna miss for ball 1. One ball and no strikes. That's going to be swung on and fouled. Stoltz chasing it all the way to the fence and can't find it. So that premier bone and joint foul ball will bring us to a 1-1 count with 1 out and nobody on base for the Horseheads. 1-1 is the count. Chalmers comes set, kicks and fires. And that'll miss for strike number 2. Want to thank all 72 of you guys watching right now here on the Bison Digital Network. here streaming almost every game. That one's going to be swung on and missed for strike 2. A huge swing from Burke, almost spun himself around. Pretty decent crowd on hand tonight, as it seems like the stands are pretty much filling out, but they're not full, if you get what I mean by that. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's now the count after that Premier Bone and Joint foul ball off towards the left. Here's the pitch from Chalmers. It's going to be fouled straight back into the concourse. Another Premier Bone and Joint foul ball. Two and 2 is the count. Here's the pitch. That's going to be lined straight down the line, and they're going to go ahead and call that foul. So once again, a Premier Bone and Joint foul ball. You know, I'm going to get tired of saying that, I promise, if this guy's up at bat. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out with nobody on base here in the top of the 7th inning. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be grounded. A bad hop taken. As Panton just couldn't quite get it, as a bad hop took it on the dirt, basically over the height of his head. So Flashberg will reach on the onto first base with 1 out, and that will bring up Rowe. Excuse me, not Flashberg. Burke will reach to first base off the single, and that will bring up Tucker Rowe, the leadoff man. Here's the pitch. That'll miss barely up high for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes is the count, with 1 out and a runner on first for the Horseheads. Here's the pitch. That'll be fouled off towards the left for strike 1. 1-1 count to Rowe, who today so far is 0 for 3. Grounded out to second twice and then lined out to first base. Here's the pitch. That's gonna miss for ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out is the count. That's gonna miss down low for ball 3 to put Rowe in a hitter-favored count. Here's the 3-1, and that will miss and send him walking. So that'll advance the runner up to second base, as Coach Grigg is going to come out to talk to his pitcher. As with an out, we have a mound visit from Coach Grigg. That meeting will now disperse, as Burke will move up to second and Rowe to first off of that walk from Rowe, and bring up the center fielder, Harrison Talbert, with 1 out and the aforementioned 2 runners on base. Chalmers comes set, as his night is not quite done yet. Here's the pitch. That will miss for ball 1. One ball, no strikes. To Talbert. That's going to hit in there on the outside edge for strike 1. Talbert, so far today, 0 for 3 as well, with fly out to right and a pop out to short, and then another fly out to right. A lot of repeating tendencies shown throughout tonight, as that ball is going to miss for ball 2 and get away from Pezzanella, but he'll grab it before any of the runners can advance. Two balls, one strike. Here's the pitch to Talbert, and that's going to be swung on and missed for strike 2. 2-2 with the count even now, as he steps back in, ready to face it. Really up near the plate in the strike zone. Here's the pitch. That's going to be chopped foul towards the left side for a premier bone and joint foul ball. The count will remain the same at 2-2. Flashberg, the sophomore from Redlands. Here's the 2-2. That's going to be chopped, picked up by Chalmers, straight to second. The ball's going to miss. So an excellent defensive play from Chalmers. The throw was just a little bit iffy, and so that will have the bases loaded. So Talbert will reach off of the error. And Burke will be at third, Rowe at second, and Talbert at first. That pitch going to be swung on and foul tipped by Baker. Premier bone and joint foul ball. Oh, 1 is the count now for Baker, who is 1 for 3 today. Walked, popped out to first, and singled before he got stranded. Here's the 0-1. That's going to be chopped foul once again for strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes is the count. As Baker steps in. Here's the pitch. That's going to be lined into shallow left center field, and 1 run's going to come across the score. The throw to the plate will not be in time, so 2 runs come across the score to make the score 11-4. Bases not emptied, but at least one position was, as Burke came in to score. Excuse me, both Burke and Rowe came in to score. Talbert advanced to first and Baker, excuse me, to second and Baker to first off of that single. 0-1 count. 1 out. Here's the pitch. That's going to be grounded. That's going to hit off the chest of Stoltz. He'll chase it. 1 run will come across, and the throw to third will not be in time, so there will be a runner on the corners now in an 11-5 ball game. Pollock making that single. So Baker will advance to second, and Pollock to first off of that single, excuse me, to third is Baker. That will bring up the first baseman, Bradley Fleener. 1 out, runners on first and third. There's the pitch, fouled off towards the left. Stoltz giving it chase, and that will be out of play. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. I want to report the official attendance for today is 326, so If you're watching this back, thank you all for coming out. And if you're not here, make sure to get here tomorrow. As our series versus the Fremont Moo will begin at 6:05 p.m. with first pitch. That'll miss to even it up at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's going to be lined down the field. They're going to call that foul, as both runners will stay and the count will move from 1-2 to, from 1-1 to 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, with runners on the corners. To Fleener, who has doubled twice today and lined out straight to the second baseman. Another foul ball will keep the count at 1-2. Here's the pitch. That's going to be once again chopped foul. Count will remain the same. 1 out with a runner on first and third here in the top of the 7th. That's going to be in there for strike number 3. That'll move it to 2 outs with runners still at first and third. So Fleener will be set down on strikes for the second out of the inning. And that will bring up Kenny Garcia, pinch hitting now, I do believe, for Tyler Butterfield, the designated hitter. That second pitch gonna be in there for strike 1 to even things up at 1-1. So Garcia going to get it to Panton. A long throw to first, showing off his power, is going to be Justice Panton. He'll get it on to first for the out, and we are going to send it to PA announcer Jack DeLongshaw for the Bonds Brewery 7th inning stretch.
Hot dog toss. Now batting for your Gem City Bison, number 13, Justin Ross.
Justin Ross stepping up to bat for your Gem City Bison. They lead it 11-5 as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. We're in the final stretch of this game tonight here in Laramie. Once again, make sure to join us tomorrow night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon for our 3-game series against the Fremont Moo. So coming out of the Bonds Brewing Company, 7th inning stretch. We're going to be here in the bottom of the 7th. Now the umpire coming over to talk to the dugout. As he's having a conversation with the umpire. Coach Gansrow. I think they were disputing whether or not it was 3 outs. No, they were disputing the score. Okay, I got it now. 5-10 is the score as Ross is going to get hit right in the side to start things off here. So that hit by pitch will send him to first base, and Justice Panton will come up to bat now. Switching over to shortstop. By the way, when Godfrey came in for Quinn McCafferty and took second base. 10-5 is the score as Panton steps in the left-handed batter's box here in the bottom of the 7th inning. A runner on first for Panton. Here's the pitch. That's going to be in there for strike number 1. A new pitcher as well for the Horseheads, Kellen Cameron coming in, wearing number 15. As the second pitch will miss for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. The count is 1-1. Panton so far today, flown out to left, walked, and then popped out to fourth. 2 balls and 1 strike. That will make him 0 for 3 on the day so far, getting his 4th at-bat here in the 7th inning. Cameron looks back at second for some reason and fires it home. That's going to be fouled off to even things up at 2-2. The Premier Bone and Joint foul ball. This bottom of the 7th inning brought to you by Advanced Comfort Solutions and Hilton Hotel Investment Services, as that's going to come across for strike 3. And that will bring up Jack Jones. Coming in, pinch hitting for Derek Wood, and possibly coming in the field, I would believe that would be the case. So before Wood was relieved, he grounded out to 6th, walked, stole a base, and then came around to score in the 2nd, and then in the 3rd, reached on a fielder's choice, came around to score, and in the 5th, struck out for the 2nd out of that inning. So totaling a line of 1 for 4 with the fielder's choice. Runner at first as that pitch is going to come. Fleener will not be able to get it, and he'll tag Jones out. He'll call him safe as that ball came out. Ross will reach to 3rd. So Jones will reach on what I presume would be an error on the first baseman. I'm not too sure about that. We'll wait for the official score, but for now he just made it on to first as Ross made it around to 3rd. The reason I don't know on that is because he tagged the runner. He tagged the runner on the base path, but the ball came out. As the athletic trainer came out to see if Fleener is all right after getting hit with that ball, and it appears he is, so he will walk back out. It looks like we're about set to get things back underway. So Justice Panton getting the first out of the inning, as that pitch is going to be swung on. And it looks like Fleener got the ball this time, and that will bring it out after that double play. So that will end the inning. We head to the bottom of the the top of the 8th here on the Gem City Bison Digital Network. 10-5 is the score. We'll be back right after this.
10-5 lead. Now batting number 9, Ethan Rose.
Ethan Rose will step up to bat. Hope you enjoyed that little intermission of the Gem City Lady Bisons, as that's going to come across for ball number 1. 1 ball, no strikes. The second pitch going to be in there for strike number 1 to Rose, who's 0 for 3 today, getting out all 3 times he came up. There's the pitch from Kish, who's the new pitcher for the Bison, as that's going to be hit into right center field. Brought in by Jones. So Chalmers will be relieved by Kish, as Rose will make it to first. 0-1 is the count. So that's going to be swung on and chopped foul for strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Runner on first for the Heads here in the top of the 8th inning. One-two is the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. As Flashberg stands in and he gets hit by a pitch.
Now batting number 3, Chris Burke, also
So that will send Rose will move to second, Flashberg to first. And that will bring up Chris Burke, the second baseman, wearing number 3. Here's the first pitch from this at-bat. That'll miss for ball number 1. 1 ball, no strikes, with runners on first and second now for the Heads. The 1-0, that'll miss for ball 2 as Pezzanella will come out and, behind the plate now. And they're making all of these substitutions. It's really hard to keep track of. Caleb Salgado behind the plate. So the 2-0 pitch will miss down low for ball 3. As Pezzanella will come back and grab it, but both runners will advance. So that'll put Rose at third and Flashberg at second, with Burke at the plate with no outs. Trailing 10-5 in the top of the 8th inning. Panting coming over to talk to Kish on the mound. He goes back to his shortstop position. Here's the 3-0. That'll miss up high for ball 4, so that will walk the bases loaded. And bring up Tucker Rowe. Rowe, the left fielder, as assistant coach John Grigg will come out and talk to his pitcher along with his catcher Salgado. 10-5 is the score in the top of the 8th. Bases loaded with no outs. Now it looks like we have a new leadoff batter. In Braden Morrow. So Morrow will come in left field for Tucker Rowe. Before Rowe was relieved, he grounded out to second base twice and then lined out to first base in the 7th inning. He got walked and then came across to score. That pitch gonna miss for ball 1 as Grigg comes back to the dugout. One ball, no strikes. Here's the pitch. That's going to be swung on, lined into left center field. Ross chasing it, picking it up and throwing it back in. 1 run's going to come across to score, and another run's going to come across to score. 10-7 is the score now, with Kish on the mound and runners on second and third. So Morrow getting a double. As Kish still on the mound. As Salgado's going to go ahead and talk to Kish on the mound. Ten to 7 now, as Coach Grigg now coming out to have a visit with Kish. As does the infield. They come in, and that will be a pitching change. We'll be back right after this on the Gem City Bison Digital Network. The score 10 to 7 in the top of the 8th. A pitching change coming. We'll be back right after this. So a new pitcher on the mound for your Gem City Bison. Going to be TJ Provenzano stepping on the mound. As already Salgado coming out to talk to him. Give him a little pat on the back and come back. Provenzano from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Went to school at Francis Marion this past year. 10 to 7, still the score. Here's the first pitch. And that's going to hit in there for ball number 1. 1 ball, no strikes, with runners on second and third. That one going to be in there for strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike to even things up. To Talbert, the center fielder, who's flown out to right, popped out to short, flown out to right again, and then reached on an error and eventually got stranded at second. That's going to be lined. Panting can't grab it. 1 run's going to come around to score. Another one will as well off the RBI single. So that will get that within 1 run. 10 to 9 is the score. Gem City still up over Casper. "11 hits for the Horseheads, 12 for the Bison. As the pickoff attempt over to first will not be successful. Still 0 outs in this inning. As Talbert will reach on the RBI single. Once again, not successful. Provenzano, a master of the art of the pickoff move. That pitch gonna miss. Picked up by Salgado. But Talbert will stay at first. 1-0 pitch. Not going to happen. As another pickoff attempt over to first. "1-0 is the count. 1 ball, no strikes, no outs, with a runner on first for Baker. As Baker stands in, and Talbert is at first. I give a huge thank you to Pepsi Wyoming Beverages and Gary Crum for being huge supporters of the Gem City Bison. 2-0 the count now. As another attempt to pick off the runner. It's not successful. Here's the 2-0, and that's going to miss him. Or, no, hit him, excuse me. So runners will be at second and first. And hit by a pitch will bring up Mitchell Pollock, number 40, as he steps into the right-handed batter's box. With one runner in scoring position, 2 runners on the bases. Here's the pitch. That'll be swung on and missed for strike 1. No balls and 1 strike to Pollock, who is 1 for 4 today. He's popped out to short, struck out twice, and then made it on the single, but then eventually got stranded in the 7th. Here's the 0-1. That'll be fouled off towards the right for another strike. No balls, 2 strikes for an 0-2 count. No outs, with runners on first and second in the top of the 8th. The Horseheads making a late game comeback here in Laramie. Here's the 0-2. That's going to be swung on into left field. Ross chasing it, lays out, and makes the catch. Awesome play from Ross to stop the runners from advancing. So there will still be runners on first and second, but luckily there will be 1 out off of that Sports Center quality play from Ross. First out of the inning, and that'll bring up Bradley Fleener, the first baseman for the Heads. 1 out, runner on second and first. Here's the pitch from Provenzano. That'll miss outside. Nobody's going to be covering third, so the throw down to third will not happen. 1-0 is the count, and Talbert will advance to third. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 out, as some directions are giving to Ross to shift more towards the right. Infield in the same position. Outfield, the center fielder shifted to a little bit more right. The stare down and pump fake down to first will obviously keep Fleener there. Excuse me, Talbert there. As the count will move to 2-0 to Fleener. Runner's going to go. That's going to be lined into center field, and the tying run will come across the plate. And the leading run to third. Talbert comes in to score, makes the score 10-10 in this top of the 8th, as assistant coach Grigg will come out to talk to his infield and his pitcher, and once again takes the ball. We will have another pitching change here in the top of the 8th. We'll be back right after this.
Now on to pitch for your Gem City Bison, the closer, Marcos Ferreira.
Back here in the top of the 8th, 10-10 is the score. Gem City and Casper all tied up as Feria is in the game. That pitch will come across for strike one to Garcia. Runners are now going to be in scoring position for both runners. Now will be in scoring position for the Horseheads. Here's the 0-1, and that'll miss outside to even things up at 1-1. One ball, one strike. Marcos Feria, the closer for this Gem City Bison team. There's the pitch. It's going to be chopped, going foul. So the count will move to 1-2 off that premier bone and joint foul ball. One ball, two strikes, one out, with runners on second and third for the Horseheads. Here's the 1-2, and that's going to be grounded. That's also going to be foul, so the count will remain the same. 1-2. Feria coming in relief of both Kish and Provenzano after the starter Chalmers. The 1-2. That's going to be swung on and missed. The pitch is going to go back, and the Horseheads have the lead, 11-10. And they'll have runners on the corners as well with only one out. Fleener will be at third and Garcia on first after the strikeout.
Now batting number 9, Ethan Rose.
That'll bring us back to where we started from, Ethan Rose. Here's the first pitch, and the runner's going to go. Garcia will be in there fine, as that first pitch going to come in there for strike one. So Garcia will now be in scoring position as well as Fleener. Rose stepping out. And now stepping back in with the bat over his shoulder. Feria comes set, fires the pitch. That'll miss just a little bit high for ball one. One ball, one strike, one out. One's all across the board here in the top of the 8th inning. 11-10, the Horseheads lead it over the Bison. And that pitch will also miss for ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. Rose steps back in. There's the pitch. That's going to hit the glove and miss. And another run will come across to score. 12-10. The Horseheads lead it as the count will move to 3-1. So a runner will stay at third. Three balls, 1 strike. As Rose steps back in. Here's the pitch. And that will miss just outside for ball 4. So Rose will make it to base the second time this inning. The Horseheads coming into this inning trailing 10-6 have now taken a 12-10 lead. So now Dane Flashberg will step in with 1 out on the board and runners on the corners. Here's the pitch. That'll be swung on just out of reach from Williamson. Another run will come in to score, 13-10. As as Rose will advance to third. Home plate umpire giving a warning to the coach as the coach signals to his dugout to be a little bit less boisterous. Let's just put it that way. So Flashberg standing at first and Rose at third off of that RBI single. There's the pitch that'll miss inside for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. Here on a beautiful night in Laradice. 1-0 pitch. Will hit in there. The throw down to second will be off target. Back to home is not going to be in time. 14-10 is the score now. Rose comes in to score. On the throw off of Flashberg's stolen base. 0-1 count now, still with only 1 out and a runner just at second now. The 1-1. Feria comes set. Fires it in there. And that'll miss for ball number 2. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Here's the 2-1. That'll be swung on and missed for strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes to even it up. The 2-2 coming from Burke, who singled multiple times, struck out once and walked once, and has scored 2 runs. Here's the 2-2. That'll be swung on and missed for strike 3. For out number 2. That'll bring us back to the top of the order. The pinch hitter, Braden Morrow. First pitch coming from Farah. In there for strike one. No balls, one strike is the count. 2 outs with a runner on second. Here's the pitch. That'll be in there for strike two. Excellent pitching from Farah. Has Morrow down on an 0-2 count. Farah looks back, deals it in. That'll be swung on and missed. The Bison will get out of this inning as we head to the bottom of the 8th. The score, 10-14. The Gem City Bison trailing versus the Casper Horseheads. Caleb Salgado stepping up to bat for the Gem City Bison. Trailing 10-14 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. That first pitch going to come across for strike number one. Now batting now pitching number 32, Brady Nelson. That pitch will miss for ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike is the count. The pitch is up for ball two. Want to thank Mr. Jim's Pizza and Papa Murphy's for being a proud sponsor of the Gem City Bison. 2-1 is the count. Salgado at the plate. That'll be in there on the outside edge for strike two. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nelson on the mound, shaking his head finally. Goes into his windup, sends it in there. Salgado flies it out into left center field, and row.
Bison, number 25, Randy.
Excuse me, Morrow will come out to grab it for out number 1. So Salgado will fly out for the first out of the inning as that pitch going to come across for ball 1. So Stoltz stepping in now, the third baseman. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Nelson, and that'll be in there for strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on base. One and 1 will move to 1 and 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. With it out, nobody on base for Stoltz, who's tripled, doubled, and singled twice. 4-for-4 day for him. That'll be on the outside edge for strike 3 and out number 2. So Stoltz will be set down for the second out, and Justin Williamson will come up to hit. First pitch of this at-bat, gonna miss for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs to Williamson and the Bison. They trail it 14-10 here in the bottom of the 8th. That pitch will come across for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes as Williamson stands in. Bat over the shoulder. Nelson pitches it in there for strike 1. Williamson has been walked twice, singled once, and grounded out for a 1-for-4 day, and that'll be in there for strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2s all across the board with Williamson at the plate and Nelson on the mound. Here's the pitch. That's going to be grounded, somehow picked up by Pollock, and the throw over to first will not be in time. So Williamson will reach on that single on the first base, and with 2 outs and a runner on first base, will bring up Mitchell Tolk, the designated hitter. The 2 umpires get together near the pitcher's mound to discuss something, and the call will stand. Runner will be safe. So with 2 outs, Tolk will step in. Stepping into the right-handed batter's box from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Northern State. Two outs, runner at first. Here for Tolk. Nelson on the mound, comes set near his face. Here's the pitch, and that'll miss down low and outside for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs. It's now the count for Tolk. Lines up his bat and swings it back around, puts it up, and he's ready. Here's the 1-0. And that almost in the same spot will reach for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike is the count to Tolk. As today he is 1 for 4. in his 5th plate appearance. Here's the pitch, and that'll be swung on, chopped, and picked up by Nelson, slung over to first, and he'll be safe. Williamson advances to second, Tolk to first on a single, and Godfrey will be stepping up to bat. Godfrey coming in the bottom of the 6th inning. The only plate appearance he's had so far ended up in a pop out to second base for the 3rd out in that 6th inning. Nelson on the mound. He comes set and fires it in there for strike 1. No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. No balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch, and that'll miss down low for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. As the Bison trail 10-14 in the bottom of the 8th after leading for a huge majority of this game. Here's the pitch, and that'll miss up high for ball 1. Two balls, 1 strike. As Godfrey swings his bat around a couple of times and decides to put it over his shoulder. Here's the pitch. That'll be swung on into center field. Runner's going to come around third to score. Tolk will be at second, Godfrey at first, and Williamson in. As Justin Ross will step up to bat. 14-11 is the score, with runners still on first and second. Steps in the right-handed batter's box with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th, and runners on first and second. Here's the first pitch from Nelson. That's going to be swung on and fouled off towards the left for a premier bone and joint. Foul ball. No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs for Ross. Lines up his bat, puts it up, and is ready to go to work. Here's the pitch. That's going to miss for ball 1. Excellent ball vision from Ross as he just stood there, watched it go by, had no intent of swinging. 1-1 is the count with runners on first and second. Here's the pitch, and that will miss inside for ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. As Ross steps in once again. That'll miss for ball 3, putting Ross in a hitter-friendly count at 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike to Ross. There's the pitch. Foul back towards the right to make the count full off of that premier bone and joint foul ball. Three balls, 2 strikes is the count. Nelson comes set, fires it in, and that'll be swung on and missed for strike 3. We will head to the top of the 9th here on the Gem City Bison Digital Network. The score, 11-14. The Casper Horseheads up over the Bison. We'll be back right after this.
Tradition here at Cowboy Field. As we head to the top of the 9th inning, please direct your attention to the third base side. We've got ourselves a good old-fashioned dance battle. Now batting for the Horseheads, number 12, Harrison Tubbert.
Harrison Talbert steps in for the Casper Horseheads. They lead at 14-11 here in the top of the 9th inning. Marcos Farah still on the mound. As that first pitch swung on and missed for strike one. That second one will miss for ball one. Last inning, they came and pushed across to 8 runs to tie it and then eventually take the lead. As that one will be fouled off towards the right for a premier bone and joint foul ball. Here in the 9th inning, we would like to say thank you to Laramie Care Partners and Nova Health, Community Care Partners, LLC. 14-11 in the top of the 9th inning. We have Harrison Talbert at bat. Time called as Talbert will step out. And he steps back in. Here's the 1-2. That'll miss outside for ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. To Talbert. Here's the 2-2. That'll be swung on, grounded. It'll be picked up by Stoltz. A couple shuffles, and the throw will go high. They're going to call it a foul ball anyway. So that play was just for extra practice, and it might be a good thing too. Stoltz is an amazing player. He's really good at what he does. That was the one mess up I've seen him do the entire time he's been a part of this team. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As Talbert steps back in off that premier bone and joint foul ball. Here's the pitch, and that will miss for ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes to make the count full here in the top of the 9th at Cowboy Field in Laramie, Wyoming. Here's the pitch. That'll be swung on, fouled back for another premier bone and joint foul ball. Another full count pitch coming from Farah. And here it is. That's in there for strike 3, no problem. As that will bring up Dylan Baker. At strike 3, will bring up Dylan Baker, the shortstop for the Heads. That'll be chopped. A nice play by Stoltz again. Turns it around and he gets it, but the runner will be safe. Williamson was off the bag when he got the ball, so Baker will be in there. But Stoltz making acrobatic moves over at third base today.
Now batting for the Horsheads, number 40.
That'll bring up number 40, Braden Morrow. As that ball will be in there for strike 1. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. As he stands in with a runner at first. That said, runner's going to go. The throw down to second will not be in time. Godfrey making the nice catch, so the count will move to 0-2, and the runner will advance to second. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. The runner on second for Morrow and the Horseheads. Farah comes set at the belt. Fires it in. That'll be fouled off towards the right for another premier bone and joint foul ball. So 0-2 still the count. Here's the pitch. That's going to be swung on and picked up by Godfrey over to first to Williamson for out number 2. So Baker will advance to third and Pollock will get out off of the 4-3 putout. That will bring up Bradley Fleener, number 20, as he steps in. Or is that a pinch hitter? We'll see if he swings. That one's going to be swung on and missed for strike 1. That is going to be a pinch hitter, number 23, Logan Conklin. Comes in to bat. Here's the 0-1, and that'll be swung on, fouled off towards the right for strike 2. Off of that premier bone and joint foul ball. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs for Farah against Conklin. Here's the pitch, and that's swung on and missed for strike 3. The Bison protect the score, and they head to the bottom of the 9th, hoping to change this thing and take the lead in walk-off fashion. We'll be back right after this. Justice Panton will start things off here in the bottom of the 9th inning. The Bison trail it 11-14 versus the Casper Horseheads. He steps in hoping to do something to get the Bison back on the board. That ball is going to miss for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. There's the pitch from Brady Nelson. 2 balls, no strikes is the count. Here's the 2-0. That'll miss up high to put Panton in a hitter's count. 3 balls, no strikes. The 3-0 will hit in there for strike 1 to move the count to 3-1. So far today, Justice is 0 for 4. Here's the 3-1, and that's going to be swung off towards the left to fill the count off that Premier Bone and Joint foul ball. 3 balls, 2 strikes for Panton and the Bison. Here's the pitch, and that'll be swung on and missed for strike 3.
Now batting number 17, Jack Jones.
That'll be out number 1, and after that strikeout, that'll bring up Jack Jones. One out, nobody on base for Jones as he steps in here in the bottom of the 9th, trailing 11-14. Here's the pitch from Nelson. And that'll be in there for strike number 1. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. As Nelson goes into his windup again, sends it, and this time it'll miss low for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. One's all across the board. Here's the pitch. That'll miss down low for ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. Two and 1 is the count. Nelson kicks and fires, and that'll miss for ball 3. Jones, when he came in, I do believe he only has 1 plate appearance so far, and that was a single, but then ended up getting caught up in a 3-4-1 double play. Here's the 3-1. That's swung on and missed for strike 2 by Jones. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Nobody on base for the Bison. Here's the pitch. That's going to be swung on and chopped foul towards the right side for a Premier Bone and Joint foul ball. 3-2 full count still in effect for Jones here in the bottom of the 9th. Here's the pitch, and that'll miss for ball number 4. That'll send him walking and bring up Tyler Bradley. So off of that walk, Tyler Bradley, the right fielder, will come in. 1 out with a runner at first. Here's the first pitch. That'll miss up high for ball one. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. Two for 5 today is Bradley. Has a triple and a double. That pitch will be in there for strike number 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out with a runner on first. Here in the bottom of the 9th, the Bison trail 11-14. Here's the pitch, and that's swung on and missed for strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1-2 is the count. Nelson looking into Flashberg. That pitch is going to be lined into center field. The center fielder not going to be able to get it. It's going to go all the way back to the warning track. Jones is going to be stopped at third, and there will be runners at second and third. Jones going from first to third. Bradley on that double, the second double of the day for Bradley. And both runners are in scoring position for the Bison. And that brings up Caleb Salgado to the plate now, as it looks like the center fielder making a dive on that play got hurt. So the athletic trainer will go out and see if he's all right, as he's still on the ground. One out. The bottom of the 9th, 14-11 is the score. As there are still the center fielder on the ground, he gets up, walks it off a bit, and looks like he's going to come off the field. So Talbert will be replaced in the outfield by number 31, Noah Adams. So Talbert is out after that injury as he dove for that ball, and it's just quite out of reach for him. So with 1 out and runners on second and third for the Bison, they trail it 14-11. The umpire making sure he gets everything written in his card. A couple warm-up pitches are given. It looks like we're about ready to get back to play. So Caleb Salgado will step in for the Bison with only 1 out and a runner on first and third. Here's the first pitch, and that will miss for ball number 1. 1 ball, no strikes, with 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th for Salgado, coming in place of Nico Pezzanella. Here's the 1-0, and that will reach in there for strike number 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1's all across the board. Nelson comes set. and deals the 1-1. That'll be fouled back for a premier bone and joint foul ball. That will be strike 2 and move the count to 1-2. Salgado stepping back into the box. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be thrown high into the air. Morrow will bring it down, but the throw to third base will not be in time. The lead gets cut shorter, 14-12. Now the score with 2 outs on the board and a runner at third on that sacrifice fly from Salgado out to left field. That'll bring up Randy Stoltz, the third baseman. For the Bison, he steps out, takes a hack, and steps back in. 14-12 is the score, 2 outs for the Bison. Here's the pitch. That'll miss up high for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs to Stoltz, who today is 4 for 5. Excellent batting today from Stoltz. That pitch will be in there for strike 1. Stoltz having a really good game both in the field and in the box, making multiple ESPN Sports Center top play worthy plays. As that pitch will be in there for strike 2, as well as just being an overall good protective third baseman. 1 ball, 2 strikes is the count, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th. Here's the pitch, and that'll be swung on and missed for strike 3, and that strikeout will finish the game. Final score, 14-12. The Casper Horseheads sweep this series. 3-0 for the Gem City Bison. Just a reminder, tomorrow we will start our 3-game series versus the Fremont Moo over in the Nebraska Land Division. The first pitch for those games will be at 6 o'clock, 6:05 I should say, tomorrow and Saturday, and on Sunday it will be at 4. So once again, final score 14-12, the Casper Horseheads over the Gem City Bison. If you can't make it here tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, make sure to join us here on the Gem City Bison Digital Network. But if you can, I would really encourage you to come out and be a part of this. This is a real fun time. But from all of us here at the Gem City Bison, all of the owners and everybody, we would like to thank you for watching and listening, and as always, feel the charge. Good night, everybody.